So, we're in week 9. And so we've learned a lot about our different moves. And this may be a good place for you to say, waving hands in clouds, I really need some help, or I need a good review on that, or whatever the move is. I just said waving hands in clouds because this morning in class, that's the move that got brought up. And we literally spent almost the whole hour breaking down waving hands in clouds until
Really?
and everybody felt more comfortable with it at the end. There it is. Oh, it's such a beautiful move, isn't it? And we were talking about how there's different ways that you can do waving hands in clouds and get different things out of it. So the way you were doing it was just so smooth. And whenever you do waving hands in clouds with that smooth word in mind, in terms of movement control, it lends itself to reducing stress and anxiety, because it's easy, it's flowing. And then in another note, if you were to do that move and really engage core and think about your dantian, which is the energy source that's stored here, and you're doing that movement with the core muscles engaged, then the benefit you get out of it is more about strengthening muscle. So even just within one move, and all I did was upper body. I didn't even talk about stepping or, what was going on with my lower body. So any move can be broken down just like that.
Anything that will help the abs.
That we like that. Engaging your core. So anytime you think about your upright posture and relaxing your shoulders. So here you're upright, just like a string that pulls up and down. Nice, good, upright posture. And then you engage your core muscles, so you're tightening your muscles. Then that's going to help make your muscles stronger, your abdominal muscles. So you have your back and then muscles and your stomach muscles, and that helps support your body, keeping it upright. Now, what I do know is any kind of fluffiness that happens in that area. You know what it is?
Fat.
Hold on, I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you how you fix. I'm going to show you how you fix it. Through diet. It's through diet.
Oh, yeah. What you eat lands right here.
That is your diet. So you can exercise a lot, but you cannot out-exercise a diet. And I'm not preaching to you. I'm not at all. I'm preaching to me. Because anytime I ever start worrying about that little pouch right there, I'm like, well, do you enjoy your Twix? Yep, I do. So what I have to make decisions. How healthy am I gonna eat, and how much does that bother me? But yeah. I do I mean, seriously, whenever we do exercise, engaging that core muscle, just tightening that muscle in movement is going to help make that stronger. So even if you have fluff on top of the muscle, that having that strong core muscle is going to help you with posture and help you with balance, because your muscles.
I'm flat.
So
I don't want that fluff.
Whenever we any movement that we do, including any type of weight training, you practice the same body structure and muscle engagement that we do in Tai Chi. So to me, that's so interesting that when I go into the gym and I'm thinking about lifting weights, I get in a stable stance. I spread my legs to hip width apart. I engage my core. I think about my posture, make sure I'm not holding tension anywhere. And that's Tai Chi teaches us that with body structure. And then we take what we learned in Tai Chi and apply it outside in all of our movements. And so I always find that interesting when I'm lifting weights, but I do all the things that I do in Tai Chi. So that's why how Tai Chi teaches us increased body awareness and how we structure our bodies to best be supported. If we realize that we're noticing that we're leaning forward a lot, but then we correct it, hey, that's increased body awareness. But if we keep walking around, hunched over and never even realize that we did it, well, we would never know how to fix it. We wouldn't know it needed fixing. We wouldn't know that we're more likely to fall, that we're gonna maybe have pain in our shoulder from holding tension there. So having that body awareness and how we structure our body translates everywhere. If there's a particular movement you want me to focus on or go over, just let me know and we can do that. You don't have to tell me now. We'll warm up first and then you can let me know. And if y'all just want to move into practicing all of our movements, just blanket practicing, that's fine too. There's no right or wrong. It's all built to help what you need to get better at doing these movements. So walking around, opening and closing our hands, pumping our arms is just a way we get our bodies warmed up and ready for exercise. If you're a seated Tai Chi person, you can march your legs in place. You can tap your toes, anything to move your body to get that blood flowing, to get your body warmed up. So that's what we do even as a seated person is warm up our bodies. Making an effort to bring those knees high as we're seated. You can do them standing too, but particularly when you're seated, getting that blood flowing. And once we're warmed up, then we move into our stretching exercises. We do our major joints from head to toe, starting with our neck. So we get in our upright posture, stable stance, no tension in our shoulders, reminding ourselves to breathe at your own pace. Beginning with our neck, bring our hands up.
Bring it up, Mama.
Our chin and chest. Push away from our body and follow those hands all the way down, chin towards our chest. So feel a little stretch in the back of your neck as you lower that chin towards your chest, following those hands with your eyes.
Good, Mom.
Our other neck exercise, following one hand. As we look towards that shoulder, coming back to front, switching, going side to side, working on the mobility of our neck.
That's what she does.
Still think slow, smooth, and continuous, even in our warm-ups. Don't get in a hurry. You don't have to go as far as you can go. Just go far enough to feel a slight stretch. Let's roll those shoulders forward.
Hold your shoulder, Mama.
Small circles, thinking the size of a quarter. and roll back. Feels like a little massage you give yourself. Rolling forward may seem a little bit awkward, and that's because our shoulders should be rolled back to have that proper upright posture. Got Miss Linda coming in. Let me let her in and mark her here. All right, for our shoulders, again, we bring our hands up, palms up, and then turn and push them down in front of us. Great one to practice breath as well as warming up our shoulders. So to practice breath, I inhale as I bring my hands up and exhale as I push those hands down. Linda.
Hey, sorry I'm late.
That's okay. I'm glad you still chose to come.
Okay.
I think I used the right verb tense.
Yeah, you did.
You did.
All right, for our spine, let's take our ball and we're going to the hand that's on the bottom of our ball, we're going to follow our spine, push up to the ceiling and push this other hand down towards the floor.
Go up, Mama, over your head.
Spine, come back to the ball and switch. I like to inhale as I come to my ball and exhale as I separate. Back to our ball. Let's take it for a ride side to side, warming up our spine horizontally.
Ball again, Mama.
Keep those shoulders relaxed. Don't put any tension in your shoulders. Anytime we raise our hands or arms, that's often a time whenever we create tension there. So just be aware of that. If you find any, just relax it. No problem. All right, let me get my water. So now we're going to warming up our hips. This is when it gets a little complicated because we shift weight to one leg and that really challenges our balance. So if you're doing this seated, things look a little bit different. And I'm going to grab my chair and show the differences. It's been a while since I've even talked about seated Tai Chi. So I'm going to show you both options. So the standing version is for the first hip warm up is we shift weight to one leg. We place our heel forward and our hands back. We pause in the middle and then toe back, hands forward. And then we do the same for the other leg. We shift the weight, heel forward, hands back, pause in the middle, and toe back, hands forward. All right. So if I'm a seated person doing Tai Chi, then I place my heel forward, just like I did standing, and my heels go back. But then I come back to seated position as my hands come forward. So I'm not going to put my foot back like that as a seated person because you saw I was going towards falling. It looked like I was falling out of my chair. So that's the seated version. It's heel forward, hands back, and then come back to seated position with your hands up. One way to make this movement more successful as a seated person is the foot that is not moving, push it into the floor. Now you're in control of the amount of pressure that you push into the floor. But that is, that's a stabilizer for you. That helps make moving this other leg a little bit easier. So push this foot into the floor as you take your heel forward and then come back to seated position, and then push this foot into the floor while you move the other leg. Okay, so that's the seated version of that. So whichever one you choose to do, shift or push the foot into the floor, heel forward, hands back, pause in the middle, and then if you're standing, toe back, hand forward. So it's kind of like a leg swing. When that foot goes back, it's at an angle back, kickstand, and that helps you be more stable than if you were to take it straight back. So we do 3 in a row, and now let's shift weight, shift, heel forward, hands back, pause, toe back, hands forward. Don't forget to breathe. Also, be conscious of keeping your body upright and not leaning into this movement. Next is our, we're shifting weight to one, it's the other hip warm up, but we're shifting weight to one leg, tapping out. Come back, shift the weight, tapping out. That's the standing version. The seated version, you lay this leg, okay, your hands go in the direction of the weight shift. The weight shift is to this leg, so I'm pushing this leg into the floor, and we're not tapping out, but instead we're laying that knee out. So you feel that stretch in your hip flexor. Bring that foot up, and then the other knee goes down. So the knee laying out is the same foot as the one standing steps out. Let's say you have pretty good balance, but you still want to rely on a chair for some assistance. Skip the hand movement and stand and hold. Use your chair for stability and still shift the weight, tap out the foot. So it doesn't have to necessarily be a chair. It could be a table. You could use a wall, whatever you have that's stable in your house. Just don't use something that can easily be pushed away from you, especially if it's a chair with wheels, because you will easily fall. And that's what we're trying to work against here. So going side to side, tapping that foot, shift, lift and tap, shift, lift and tap. Don't forget to breathe. As you go through these movements. There you go. Next is for our knees. So we're going to shift our weight, lift, tap our foot, and punch the opposite hand. So if you're seated, then you're gonna, the leg that we were to shift the weight to, you're gonna push it into the floor, and then you're gonna take that toe out in the air. It's not like if you're standing, you're gonna tap your foot out. But if you're seated, tapping your foot out is very awkward. So you'll lift your foot and just tap it out in the air. But pushing that opposite foot into the floor is going to help you be more stable. Also, this is a great time to engage your core muscles as well to help keep you stabilized. So standing, it's shift, lift, tap, and punch. Again, this is a time you can use your chair and skip the arm movements. the weight shifting, holding weight on one leg while the other leg does something, that is the most important part of these moves as we warm up our lower body major joints. Slowly shift the weight, lift, tap, and punch. Other knee exercise asks us to step forward, a small step. We shift weight forward, keeping both feet flat on the floor, punch opposite hand, feet side by side. If you're seated, you're going to place your heel out forward, or before you placed your toe out forward. If you're seated, you do your heel, because you can't step out of your chair, shift weight forward and shift weight back. You'll fall out of your chair. So that's not what we're doing. Shift and come back. If you still need help with balance, but you want to try it standing, use the chair and skip these arm movements. That's not a big deal.
Hands, Mama.
Next is for our ankle, and we shift weight to one leg and we heel toe. Now, if you're seated, simply rock your ankles in the air. You can do circles, just moving those ankles. You can do both at the same time. You can do windshield wipers. You're just working those ankle joints, helping to improve their mobility through this stretching, heel toe. Come back, and then we can do big toe, little toe, or side to side. It has started raining in Baxley. I knew that rain was coming, but I was kind of hoping it would dance around us. Shift the weight, little toe, big toe. Do one of y'all have a smoke detector whose battery's gone dead that's beeping?
Not mine.
Okay. Every now and again I'll hear a beep. So I'm not sure what that sound is. Are y'all hearing it, or is it just me?
I don't hear it.
Say that again.
I hear it.
You hear it? I don't know where it's coming from.
I don't hear it.
All right. Well, who knows? So that is our warm-up exercises. So that we always do that no matter what, and that gives you some idea of how to do it seated as well, because there's just a little bit of differentiation in our lower body. Now, when it comes to our Tai Chi moves, of course, we do step, shift, and step, and then in waving hands and clouds, we step to the side. So if you're in your chair, you're not going to step and go places because you'll come out of your chair. So when you do seated Tai Chi, do the arm movements just as we do them standing. And with your lower body, you have a choice. You can do absolutely nothing with your legs, like you don't even have them. Or you can push one leg into the floor and release that leg and push the weight into the other leg. So you're kind of paddling, like push, 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 push. So you're engaging muscle. Now, sometimes that's too much for people. It's like patting your head and rubbing your belly. It's just too many things going on. So what I suggest, if you are seated Tai Chi because you have some lack of strength in your lower body, and that's causing you to have fear of falling or falls or just a lack of balance, take some time seated to push those feet into the floor. Outside of Tai Chi class, outside of anything going on with our upper body, take time to engage those muscles. You will never get stronger if you do not engage muscle. You will not get better at balance by doing nothing. You have to do something. You start somewhere. So even if it's seated and you're pushing one foot at the time into the floor, that engages muscle. Then as you feel stronger, more able, all right, now let's take a chair or take a stable table, go to the wall. You're holding on, and let's shift weight from one leg to the other. So I'm shifting weight right and left, but I'm not lifting my feet off the floor. I'm just shifting and shifting. So see, that's next level. Still holding on to the chair, I can shift my weight and then be brave and tap the other foot out. Shift the weight, tap that other foot out, right? So that's gradually over time doing more and getting stronger and stronger to the point where you may be able to do it without anything or have your chair nearby just in case as you shift weight and tap, shift weight. It's the weight shifting that we do in Tai Chi class that really helps strengthen our muscles and helps us prevent falls. And that's why Tai Chi is good for preventing falls, is the weight transfer. So seated Tai Chi, you got to be a little bit smart about engaging muscle. You're not going to be able to do just plain seated Tai Chi and it magically help with balance. I hope that makes sense. All right, so let's get to our basic 6. So if you're doing it seated, you know what your instruction is. I'm going to turn around so you can follow me easier, and I'm going to go through our basic 6, talking you through each of the movements. So we're starting with nice stable stance, feet shoulder width apart, no tension in our shoulders, weights on both legs. Here we go, and commence. Hands come up, down, shift right. Step left, hands come in and up. Shift left as they go out, right foot forward, hands come back, open and close. Single whip, shift left, step right, adjust weight. Push, turn, separate, following that left hand. Shift left, bring that right foot, right hand back, waving hands in clouds. Step and switch, turn, shift. 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 Step and switch, turn, and to the middle for open and close. Single whip, shift right, step left, adjust weight. Push, turn, separate, eyes following your right hand. Shift right, bring that left foot, left hand back, waving hands in clouds. Step and switch, turn, shift, 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 step and switch, turn, and to the middle for open and close. Close it out. How was that?
Good.
You need any front body explanations? Are you good for me to stay turned around?
I'm good.
Okay. All right. Let's just practice. Now we're going to go through it and I'm just going to call the names of the movements, okay? From the top, basic 6 and commence. Open, close. Single whip. Waving hands in clouds. Open, close. Single whip. Waving hands in clouds. Open and close. Close it out. All right, let's practice it again. And commence. Open, close. Single whip. Waving hands in clouds. Open, close. Single whip. Waving hands in clouds. Open, close. Close it out. All right, I'm going to do it facing forward.
Mirror image?
I'm going to do mirror image. I'm going to do it seated. So whenever we do mirror image, whenever we do our Tai Chi, remember we go to the right first. We do our single whip and waving hands and clouds to the right. And when we do we meet in the middle for open and close. And then we do single whip, waving hands and clouds to our left. Okay. So since we have a new person that is seated, I want to make sure that you can see how to do this forward facing as a seated person. Keeping in mind with our legs, you can do nothing at all except have them connected to the floor. So we're stable in the way we're seated. Even our legs are still shoulder width apart. So we're not just loosey-goosey with our legs. We're still engaged. And you can push one leg at a time into the floor and you're in control of how much, okay? So, but mostly for a seated person, you go through the upper body movements. So remember, we go to the right first and then to the left, okay? And commence. Hands come up.
What she does.
And down towards our body and up. Hands go out and back in, open and close. Single whip. Waving hands in clouds to the right. Turn right, switch, and turn left. Open, close. Single whip. Waving hands in clouds to the left. Open, close. And close it out. So that's what our basic 6 looks like, seated and from the front. And I did that in mirror image. So that's what I can do the standing version mirror image. So I'll start over here because I go to the right. Shoot. Excuse me. I go to the right first and then I go to the left. So I have to scooch over here a little bit. All right, so here we go, basic 6. And commence. Open, close. Single whip. Waving hands in clouds. Close. Single whip. Waving hands in clouds. Close. And close it out. All right, so that helps make things more clear of what's going on in our upper body. Are there any of those basic 6 moves that you would like to review or go into in any more depth? You're good to go on basic 6. You feel good about all that? Okay. And if you decide next week you do want to go over anything, we can. So don't feel like this is the last opportunity for you to say anything. So now let's move to our advanced 6. Keeping in mind that as a seated person doing advanced movements, it's the same as before. You have some engagement in your legs. You're connected to the floor. You can shift weight by pushing your legs one at a time into the floor. But it's a lot of upper body movement. And in our advanced 6, we go from facing the front to facing the left. And we do some things. Then we come back to the front. Well, if you're seated, you're not going to turn. You're going to do everything forward. So when we go to the left, you will go to the front. Okay, so we're not trying to do anything that would make you fall out of your chair, and turning would increase your chance of falling out of your chair. All right, so first movement, brush knee. And so mirror image, brush knee looks like this to Oh, to the left. Okay, so we're going from forward facing to the left. We shift left, right toe in, shift and reach our right hand out and protect our elbow. Shift right, bring that left foot, left hand back. Step left, bring this right around and shift as I push and follow step. Keeping in mind when we do our movements in Tai Chi that we have an empty step. So anytime we step, there's no immediate weight transfer. Empty step, then we shift the weight, and then there's that follow step. The follow step also has no weight, and the follow step foot is the next foot, or the first movement in the next, the first step in the next movement. Maybe you got that. All right, so when, remember we go to the left first with our our brush knee. So we shift left, right toe in and reach, shift right, separate, prepare. Step left, bring that right hand around, shift as I push and follow step. That's brush knee. Again, brush knee, shift, right toe in and reach, shift right, left foot, step, bring the right around, shift as I push and follow step right. That's brush knee. Next is play the lute. So play the lute and then parry punch. That's when our palms pass each other and we come to the elbow for the end, or we come to the elbow. So the first one is play the lute, and that's when our hands pass and we stop at the elbow. The next is parry, parry, punch, and that's where we flip, palms pass, get to the elbow. Flip, palms pass, get to the elbow. The hand that's reached out now becomes a guard. This hand comes back, reaches in your back pocket. You don't really, it's play pretend. We're going reaching back here and getting a bouquet of flowers to deliver where our wrists hover over each other. And it's as if we could be holding a bouquet of flowers if we had it. Shift and deliver. That's parry, parry, punch. So for 3 movements in a row, our hands are passing and we're coming to the elbow to then make the transfer. Okay, so that's what's going on, what you can see up front. So let's go brush knee and then those movements. Brush knee, shift left, right toe in and reach. Shift right, separate, prepare. Step left, bring this right hand around, push as I shift and follow step. Play the lute, step back right, turn hands, shift as they pass, get to that elbow and follow step. Parry punch, step and flip, shift and parry. Step and flip, shift and parry. Step and guard, shift, deliver, follow step. Block and close. Step back, release hands, shift, follow step. Push the tiger. Step, shift as I push and follow step. To the front. Step right, shift, left, hands face, open and close. Now let's go to the right. Shift right, left toe in and reach. Shift left, separate, prepare. Step right, bring this left around, shift as I push and follow step. Play the lute, step back, turn hands. Shift as they pass, get to that elbow, follow step. Parry punch, step and flip, shift and parry. step and flip, shift and parry, step and guard, shift, deliver, follow step, block and close, step back, release hands, shift, follow step, push the tiger, step, shift, follow step, to the front, step, shift, step, hands face, open and close, and close it out. So those are definitely advanced movements, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a mouthful. Made me thirsty to even say all of them. The only way to get better is to practice and to go through it. That's right, to do them. But anytime you need me to really break down a movement, you just let me know and we will break down that movement. If we don't have time to do it today, we'll do it next time. So let's go through it again. This time I'm just going to say the names of the movement as we go through our advanced 6. Okay, so we're coming from open and close. Brush knee. Play the loop. Parry punch. Block and close. Push the tiger. To the front. Open, close. Brush knee. Play the loop. Parry punch. Block and close. Push the tiger. To the front. Open, close. All right, let's do it again. Open, close. Brush knee. Play the loop. Parry punch. Block and close. Push the tiger. Open, close. Brush knee. Play the loop. Parry punch. Block and close. Push the tiger. Open, close. Close it out. One more time, then we're going to put it all together. From open and close. Brush knee. Play the loop. Parry punch. and close. Push the tiger. Open, close. Oops. You know what I was doing? I was going to single whip. Brush. I saw that rain and got to think about the baseball game being canceled. Play the loop. Parry punch. Lock and close. Push the tiger. To the front. Open, close. Getting us some good practice in. So let's go from the top. Basic 6 and advanced 6. Here we go. And commence. Open, close. Single whip. Waving hands in clouds. Open, close. Single whip. Waving hands in clouds. Open, close. I'm going to move to start on advanced 6. Here we go. Brush knee. Play the loop. Parry punch. Lock and close. Push the tiger. To the front. Open, close. Brush knee. Play the loop. Parry punch. Lock and close. Push the tiger. To the front. Open, close. And close it out. So today was a lot of good practice. Good reminders of our seated, that if we ever want to just do seated, maybe we're limited for our space. Maybe we're stuck on an airplane and we're going to have to practice a little Tai Chi staying within our frame. We can't go anywhere. So it's good to know how to do that movement seated. It's good to remember about shifting weight by pushing feet into the floor, even when we're seated, to engage muscle. We did forward facing mirror image, turned around, basic and advanced movements. So if you want to rewatch this video, it's a good time to go through the practice. I talked you through the moves, and I also did the moves with just calling out the names. So this is a good one to revisit to practice. If you're real interested into cleaning up your waving hands and clouds or having more clarification, watch this morning's class. We really broke it all the way down and spent the majority of the class doing waving hands and clouds. So lots of different ways to practice these same moves. So I like what we did today. I like that practice because I think it was Miss Linda said, maybe Miss Nora said it too. The only way we get better is by doing it. So
Right.
let's have a fist massage. Tell our little legs, thank you for working so hard. We do a lot of weight shifting in our Tai Chi, which is good for us, but also it is fatiguing for our legs. And they work hard, so don't be surprised when you get tired after spending time doing Tai Chi. Even though we go so slow, it's a lot of work on our muscles. All right, let's purposely gather tension and then let it go. We want to be aware what tension feels like so we can recognize it and let it go, and we don't have to hold on to tension and get the pain that it may cause us. Big shoulder movement, inhale and exhale. Taking your time with that breath. And this is a good one to do seated and just practice breathing. It can help reduce any stress or anxious thoughts you may be having. Lord knows life can be stressful that way. So we need to take time, breathe, and just relax. We have our right fist. We're doing mirror image here. The right fist representing our strength, our left fingers together representing our friendship, our thumb in representing humility. We put those together in mutual respect. We say namaste.
Namaste.
Very good, y'all. Great.
Could can we practice the next time the advanced 6 going to the right?
Yes, we will do that.
Okay.
Let me make myself a note. Advanced.
Going to the right.
Going to the right. That's the second way we go.
Right.
You know, I get all baffled thinking about left and right and mirror image and not. So yes, that's what we will focus on. I put that on class 10 and we will go over that more times because, you know, the more we do it, the better we'll get. But thank y'all for coming today and making time to be here. And if y'all need me between now and next Tuesday, let me know. I'll be happy to help you, even if it's jumping on Zoom when I can, to help you go over something. You always have the YouTube videos to refer back to, but I'm here for you any way you need me. I hope y'all have a
Thank
wonderful
you.
week. I'm glad you got to join us, Miss Elmira. Hopefully we'll see you next week. All right,
Have a
love
good
y'all.
week.
Okay,
Love
love you.
you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Tai Chi.